Hello there, welcome to today's class. For today, we're talking about the addition and subtraction of vector. Last class, we have discussed about the definition of vector, the representation of vector. We also talk about the magnitude, or you call it modulus of a vector, and we also discussed about unit vector in our last class. I'll drop the link to our first class on vector in the description of this video. So check description to check our last class on vector. For today, we're just talking about the addition and subtraction of vector. How do you add a vector? How do you subtract a vector? I will give you something to note, very important. If you can note that stuff, to add any vector or subtract any vector will never be a problem. Note that to add any vector or subtract any vector, simply add their corresponding coordinate or subtract their corresponding coordinate. So that's what you need to note. When it comes to adding two vector or subtracting two vector, your task is to what? Add corresponding coordinate or subtract corresponding coordinate in case of subtraction. Note number 2 is that when subtracting vector or when adding vector, encase each vector in a bracket. That's very important, please. Encase each vector in a bracket. All right. I haven't noted all what I said. Let's take some example to further explain the concept behind addition and subtraction of a vector. Example 1. Example 1. Given two vector, let's say vector A to be equal to 3i plus j plus 4j minus 3k as vector A, and I'm giving vector B to be equal to 2i plus k minus plus j minus 2k. Let's say plus 2k per se. So let's say I have these two vector A to be equal to 3i plus 4j minus 3k, and vector B to be equal to 2i plus j plus 2k. How do you add this vector? The question says find vector A plus vector B. That's the first question. The second one says find this. Let's say this is for I says find vector A minus vector B. Let's get these two questions. Let's get it done. How do you find this? So let's start with this, please. Let's get this done, please. Solution. My first task says that I'm having this one there, I. So for I, I'm having vector A plus vector B. We said when it comes to adding two vectors, your first task is what? Encase each vector in a bracket. And what's vector A? Vector A is this one here. So I'm having vector A in a bracket, please. I'm having 3i plus 4j minus 3k as my vector A plus vector B, 2 in a bracket. That's 2i plus j plus 2k as my two vectors. So we said encase each vector in a bracket. When you are done, what's next? I'm having 3i here. So I'm having 3i plus 4j minus 3k. Open the bracket here. I have this. Plus times 2i gives plus 2i. Plus times plus j, that gives plus j. Plus times plus 2k, that gives plus 2k. At this point here, we said when it comes to adding vectors or subtracting vector, simply add their corresponding coordinates. What do we mean? But before I apply what I said now, let's collect like terms here. Collect like terms. collecting like terms. So I'll have that I have 3i here and 2i here. So I'll have 3i plus 2i, 3i and 2i. Next up, 4j and j. I'm having plus 4j plus j, right? 4j and j. Next up, 3k and minus 3k plus 2k. Minus 3k plus 2k. Sorry. All right. Having correct like terms, we said add their corresponding coordinates. I to I, add it up. J to j, add them up. K to k, add them, simplify them. So 3 plus 2, that gives what? 5i. Next up, plus 4j plus k plus j, that gives plus 5j. Sorry, plus 5j. Next up, minus 3k plus 2k gives minus k. So therefore, when I had vector A plus vector B, it gives me 5i plus 5j minus k as my final answer after adding this vector here. Let's take the second problem here. II. For II here, what do you note? What do you notice? I'm having vector A minus vector B. I'm having vector A minus vector B. How do you subtract these two vectors? We said first task, encase each vector in a bracket. Vector A is this. I'm having A to be what there? 3i plus 4j minus 3k as my vector A. This is minus sign into vector B is of course 2i plus j plus 2k as my vector B. So we said first task, remove the brackets here for this one here. So I'll have 3i plus 4j minus 3k. So minus times 2i gives minus 2i, 2i. Minus plus we give minus. I have j here. Minus plus give minus 2k. Observe that if I do not encase this one here in a bracket, I will end up having minus 2i plus j plus 2k, which is wrong. So ensure that you encase each of them in a bracket. So after expanding this one here, this 2 becomes negative. But if I do not put this bracket there, this one becomes negative alone. This becomes positive. So that's why I encase them in a bracket. That's very important, please. To avoid confusion, always encase each vector in a bracket. At this point here, next task is to collect like terms. Right? So what's my next task here? I have 3i plus 3i. What's I here? Minus 2i. Next up, move to j plus 4j. Next up, j here is minus j. This is minus 3k minus 2k. At this point here, add or subtract the corresponding coordinates. 3i minus 2i we give I, plus 4i minus I we give plus 3j. Sorry, plus 4j minus j we give plus 3j. Next up, minus 3k minus 2k we give minus 5k. At this point here now, since I subtract vector A from vector B, my answer gives I plus 3j minus 5k as my final answer after simplifying this one here. Let's take one more example and end this concept. Example 2. Let's say I have a vector m to be equal to I plus k, and I have a vector n to be equal to 3i plus 2j minus 3k. And I'm told to find vector m plus vector n. That's all. So how do you find the sum of these two vectors? We said our first task here, observe that this one here, there's one letter missing. There's j is missing here. So how do you simplify something of this nature? The task is quite simple. The same procedure. We said I'm having vector a plus vector n. So solution here, I'm having two vector. So vector m plus vector n. How do you add them? We said when it comes to adding two vector, your first priority is to what? Encase each vector in a bracket. Vector m is given as I plus k, plus vector n is given as 3i plus 2j minus 3k. At this point here, simplify this one. Open the bracket here. I'll have I plus k plus 3i gives plus times 3i gives plus 3i, plus times plus 2j give plus 2j, plus times minus 3k will give minus 3k. At this point here, my next task is what? Collect like terms at this point here. Collecting like terms here, I'll have that I first. I have I here, so I plus 3i. So I have I plus 3i. Next up, plus k minus 3k, plus k minus 3k. Finally, j before k, please. I, after I, next up is j. So I have j here, 2j, just only 2j. So that's plus 2j. Next up, plus k minus 3k. Get this right. My answer becomes I plus 3i gives 4i plus 2j plus 2j plus k minus 3k gives minus 2k. This means that if vector m sum up with vector n, the answer is given as 4j plus 4i per se. 4i, I have 4i plus 2j minus 2k as my final answer after simplifying this one here. So this is how to add and subtract vector. If you found this class helpful, do what to like, leave a comment and share. Subscribe and also share to your friends so that they can learn too. See you in our next class.